Hi. How are you? Good to see you. How you doing? You skating later? Nice. Nice. Hey, Ben. Good. So she still has mono, and so they told her she can't skate. She was totally like excited about coming back to Derby and everything, and so. But she has prom tonight. I'll show you a picture.
You always have to take pictures.
Right? This was her in the kitchen. Right? So, I'll tell her you asked. Yeah. And there's one more. There's her in front of the house. I took a picture of Ginger, taking a picture of her. So, yeah. So, you'll see me later. I'll be here. I'm here for both games. All right. Oh, nice. Well, I'll make sure to announce you.
And then they'll go like this, and then you go like that.
Oh, really? Oh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Got ya. Okay.
Yeah. No. Up here. Nope. Yeah, no, that's I've done it before from up here. We're cool. We need to squeeze this in before they get to safety checks.
Where are we at? What?
This thing.
Okay. You number one?
It's been on for a while. I haven't touched that until now. Good evening, Phoenix! I am your announcer, Old Greg, and I would like to personally welcome you to the Hall of Dames, Arizona's only bank track roller derby venue, brought to you by the Arizona Derby Dames.
And I'm Kills Bill. Tonight's bouts are going to feature both of our adult skaters as well as our minor assaults, our junior roller derby team. Coming up first, our adult mashup teams will take the track disguised as fairies and witches for some fast-paced, hard-hitting competitive roller derby. Before we begin, let's go over some ground rules. Please, no whistling as it interrupts the game. Also keep in mind, while in the line for the bathroom, skaters take priority because they have to get back out onto the track. Last but not least, for your safety and the safety of our skaters, please keep your body parts on the outside of the track and behind this yellow line. Keep your arms and legs outside of the ride. Looks like our regulators are about to check our teams for safety.
All right, Derby fans, as you can see, our regulators are checking the teams for safety. That's going to give us a moment to introduce you to the team. We literally could not do this without your regulators this evening. Your head referees for tonight's bouts are Transylvania and Lollipop.
Game executioner Ziggy Stardust.
Pack referee, Ref Boyardee.
Pack referee Mad Moxie.
Jam ref, Meryl Streak.
Eye in the skies Racy Tracy.
Jam ref, Hoover Slam.
Eye in the sky Psycho.
Outside pack ref, Stabitha Christie.
Outside pack referee June Cleavage.
Penalty tracker assistant, The Morgue.
Penalty box Chasen Voorhees.
Penalty box, Danny Sage.
Scoreboard Zero Cool.
And your runner is some Puerto Rican guy. That's the regulators. Show them a little bit of love. It could be the only love they get all night. We recently hosted tryouts, welcomed a new group of skaters to our rookie team. We'd like to shout out our rookies that are working tonight. I hear a couple people. We'd like to queue up a video from another recent tryout session to show you. Direct your attention to the video screen.
I thought it was a really good turnout. The amount of skaters we were able to obtain was really good. People looked really eager. What we're looking for when it comes to somebody trying out for the Arizona Derby Dames is, do they have a good attitude? Do they show initiative? Do they try the things that we are instructing them to do?
Yeah, everybody was really helpful. There's a lot of guidance and education from the seasoned skaters. They were trying to make it to where everybody was involved and everybody could do something and nobody was left out, which I really liked.
Being a part of the Arizona Derby Dames is life-changing.
It's a community of amazing, amazing women and men and kids and families that are there for you.
So you get this sense of friendship, the sense of belonging, and the sense of accepting anybody and everybody that comes here. We want it to be a safe space.
So much more than just skating, and even when it's skating and you're struggling with something, there's always somebody there to lend a hand.
Roller derby will give you back everything you give to it tenfold. The more invested you become in the community that surrounds this league, the more invested you become in the women and the families they belong to, the more you realize that you are a part of something bigger and you have an opportunity to really make change. It might feel local, it might feel small, but one person can make a difference within a league, can make a difference within their team, and then you yourself will experience changes that you weren't expecting. I wasn't expecting in 2011. Like, it's changed my life.
All right, Derby fans, it is time to introduce you to tonight's teams for the first half of the bout, the adult mashup between the Fairies and the Witches. These are the Fairies. Skating tonight for the Fairies, number 11, Slaughtermelon. Number 12, Maximum Hoverdrive. Number 1225, Baba Yaga. Number 1701, Spock Block. Number 18, Embezzlement. Number 1951, Trixie Pixie. Number 2011, Colette Razorcat. Number 2187, Princess Leia. Number 300, Dolly Spartan. Number 31, Twinkle Toes. Number 4, Cherry Kiss. Number 59, Raoul Juke. Number 68, Juicy Kill Tour. Number 69, Florence Puke. Number 772, I'll Annihilate Ya. Number 925, Evil Twin. Number 9MK3, Pixie Danger. And number 95, your captain of the Fairies, Lightning McQueen. Helping the team in their bench tonight are bench coach Hella Rude and Melanie Mangler.
All right, Derby fans, taking the track now are your Witches. Flying tonight for your Witches, number 182, Hannibal Lecter. 00, Novocaine. 007, Clutch Cannon. 011, Skeletori. 100, Cryptic Callie. 1029, it's Reckless Rose. 1897, Impaler Swift. 1982, Sandra Slay O'Connor. 213, Sandwich. Number 22, Mimi Mahler. Number 34, Pretty Hurt Machine. 56, Serenader. Number 600, Thigh Voltage. 616, your Aunt Tifa. 626, Ritual Ruckus. 835 is Jaeger. And skating tonight, the captain of your Witches, number 669, Nikki Badass. Helping the team on their bench tonight are bench coach Troy McClure and Thrill Sergeant. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Tonight's national anthem singer is Old Greg. Old Greg is a local artist, specializes in improv, singing, playing the tuba, and moonlights as the Derby Dame's head announcer. When he isn't found making us laugh with his clever puns, he's loving on all of his fur babies at home and is known as the best cat dad on earth.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? All right, we are ready to get underway, Derby fans. Princess Leia is on the jammer line, representing the Fairies, and representing the Witches, it's Jaeger. And the action quickly underway. Jaeger to the front of the pack, and Jaeger shakes clear and is your lead jammer for the Witches. Princess Leia weaves her way through the pack, and she's out as well. Going to try to limit this to one scoring attempt for Jaeger. Big collision, several skaters down. Jaeger picks up what she can and calls off the jam. Up to the jammer line for the Witches is Skeletori. And the jammer for the Fairies is Cherry Kiss. Had to wait for her to turn her number towards me to see Cherry Kiss now quickly to the front of the pack. But more quickly than that, there goes Skeletori. They're both out of the pack. Skeletori lead jammer for the Witches. Cherry Kiss keeping the pressure on now. Skeletori slides in, tries to pick up a couple of points at the back of the pack and calls it off.
All right, taking the line for the Witches, it's team captain Nikki Badass.
And jamming for the Fairies is Twinkle Toes. And there goes Twinkle Toes zipping through the pack. She is out in your lead jammer for the Fairies. Nikki Badass gaining quickly there, coming down the front straightaway, and Twinkle Toes called off the jam. Looks like Dolly Spartan lining up on the jammer line for the Fairies.
Pretty hurt machine out there for the Witches, continuing our theme of teammates jamming against teammates.
Some adjustments to the pack. We've got a handful of skaters there in the penalty box.
Dolly tries up high, but gets the door shut on her by Novocaine. Novocaine taking her up to the wall, but Dolly's able to get by as your lead jammer. Hurt escapes the pack coming out of turn 2. Dolly Spartan coming around, set up a scoring pass. Slow pack coming into turn 3. Dolly's on the high side and calls it off before Hurt can get any points.
So a tight game so far. Sorry about that. Excuse me. 3-2 is the score so far, which is on top. That's going to be Evil Twin at the jammer line for the Fairies.
Jaeger out there for the Witches. Sorry, I said Jaeger's out there for the Witches. Until she's not.
Oh, now she isn't. Jaeger pulled down off the track. It's going to be a power jam for the Fairies. Some defensive adjustments now for the Witches, trying to get another blocker out there. Evil Twin takes a huge block. Sliding down to blocker there, that was Reckless Rose.
Reckless Rose coming down to protect the low side. Split pack, Evil Twin able to get out of turn 2 though.
.38 seconds left in the power jam. Evil Twin down to the inside, tiptoes by along the coping, and she's through on a scoring pass, coming around for her second.
Nice move.
The Fairies are controlling the pace of play here by keeping that blocker pinned at the back of the pack. Evil Twin serving as her own blocker there, knocking players out of the way and scooting through the pack. 10 seconds left on the Fairies power jam. This time Reckless Rose able to get a good angle, and she knocks the Evil Twin down. Evil Twin tries to go between a couple of blockers, and we will see if she was able to pick up those points at the end.
Antifa and Reckless Rose, a couple of coffin draggers out there holding that coffin dragger line.
It's a full 15-point power jam for the Fairies. 3 full scoring passes for Evil Twin. We're going to have an official timeout. I heard the ruckus of an OPR over there trying to phone in some penalties from the far turn. So we will wait for the regulators to check on that and make sure all penalties are assessed before the next jam.
Hey Derby fans, be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Dames merch booth to get your favorite league and team merchandise. We have t-shirts, tank tops, hats, koozies, as well as stickers and buttons of your favorite team. That's also where you can get your souvenir cup for the night. go ahead and get a souvenir cup over there at the Derby Dames merch booth.
We'd like to let you know about one of our longtime sponsors, Lost Dutchman Tattoo. They are a tattoo shop specializing in various styles from realism to traditional. You can also customize your own tattoo. Walk-ins are accepted. The shop is located at 4121 North 19th Avenue. That's the east side of 19th Avenue, just north of Indian School Road. Lost Dutchman Tattoo.
Also, Derby fans, be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Dames snack bar. Grab a cold beverage or a snack. All the proceeds go back to the league, and your support is greatly appreciated. We've also got a food truck outside, Los Habaneros Street Tacos. They're located outside our front entrance. They're here through halftime of our second bout. Go ahead and go support a local food truck.
Up to the jammer line for the Fairies is Pixie Danger.
That's Skeletori out there for the Witches.
Pixie Danger to the front of the pack, but gets pushed off onto the infield by that one blocker. Got the angle on her, and now racing by along the outside. There goes Skeletori, lead jammer for the Witches.
Pixie Danger racing around the top of the track, trying to get out of that pack, able to get out. Skeletori is already halfway through their scoring pass.
And Tori calls it off with Pixie Danger bearing down. 3 points for the Witches in that jam. It looks like we've got Princess Leia on the jammer line for the Fairies.
And the Witches sent up Jaeger. Jaeger's jamming. Good. Got left. Jaeger making her way down to the bottom of the track. Alan I'll hate you, knocks her to the infield. But Princess Leia had been able to get out of that pack, though, as your lead jammer coming around the backside of the track, about the pack, set up a scoring pass. Unfortunately, Callie and Nikki were pushed out of the way, so pushed out of play, and so they had to let Princess Leia go by.
Setting up on the jammer line for the Fairies is Dolly Spartan, and she's there all by herself. It's going to be another Fairies Power Jam.
Fairies looking to extend their lead right now, 21-6.
Dolly Spartan taking her usual patient approach to the pack, looking for an opening. Now she's fighting along the outside.
Dolly trying hard, getting pinned up against the wall by Novocaine and Pretty Hurt Machine.
Dolly finally able to get that last blocker pushed far enough out of play, and she is cleared to go on by with 26 seconds left in the Power Jam. Dolly Spartan blocked off onto the infield, slides and waits for the pack to pass her by so she can get back and reestablish. 10 seconds left in the Power Jam now. And as the clock expires, Dolly finishes off that scoring pass. So 5 points for the Fairies there on that Power Jam. Fairies are sending Princess Leia to the jammer line.
Nikki's back on the track to jam for the Witches. Witches have one player in the box, so they're down a blocker.
And Saleha dashes by along the outside and is quickly out, and lead jammer for the Fairies. Nikki Badass out of the pack as well for the Witches.
Princess Leia saw an opening and just ran with it.
Saleha picking up 4 points there for the Fairies. Dolly Spartan to the jammer line for the Fairies this time.
Skeletori back out there for the Witches. Both teams back at full strength out on the track. Skeletori and Dolly Spartan both stuck in traffic. Dolly Spartan dives low, try to take the low side, and gets stuck behind Mimi Mahler. Lightning the Queen. But is able to emerge after turn 2. She's your lead jammer, Dolly Spartan.
Skeletori manages to make her way through the pack. And for that treble, Dolly Spartan picks up 1 point. Up to the jammer line for the Fairies is Juicy Kiltour.
And that's Jaeger back out there for the Witches.
And Juicy now along the inside, able to find an opening. She's your lead jammer for the Fairies.
Black, no lead.
Juicy gets partway through the pack and calls off the jam. Picks up 4 points. Four minutes, 30 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Up to the jammer line for the Fairies. Hold on. Nobody at the jammer line for the Fairies. It's a power jam for the Witches.
Pretty hurt machine out there looking to put some points on the board, get the Witches back in this game. Still pretty close bout. You know, if you watch Derby, anybody can make up a bunch of points in a short period of time. This might be that time. Hurts on the track and got Novocaine opening the door for her. Hurts out already, your lead jammer, already about halfway around the track from the pack as it slows down coming out of turn 2. Hurt gets tied up in traffic behind Strange and Lightning the Queen. Slows her down, but she's able to break free. Coming around for a second scoring pass. Still about 25 seconds left in this jam. Hurt takes it right to him, though.
Six seconds left. Hurt approaching the pack, trying to get some, just rolls right into the wall like a wrecking ball. Trying to knock her way through as many skaters as possible. And it looks like we're going to head into an official timeout, if I'm reading the signals correctly. We are going to head into official timeout. So we'll get to those jammers coming out there in a second. 2:56 to go in the first quarter. We will check on the score. There we go. It's a 13-point power jam for Pretty Hurt Machine and the Witches to close that lead for the Fairies. Fairies in front 35-19.
Hey folks, I want to take a moment to tell you about Siphon Draw Apothecary. They're an all-natural, non-toxic, handcrafted skincare products made by our very own Dolly de los Muertos. We want to shout out the sponsor for providing us with hand sanitizer for our entire season, keeping us safe with clean hands. Visit siphondraw.com for their incredible products, or one of these days make your way out there to Goldfield Ghost Town, out there by the Superstition Mountains. It's gorgeous. Go see their shop.
All right, we are back to the action. Timeout is over. Up to the jammer line for the Witches is Hannibal Lecter. For the Fairies is Princess Leia. Leia now finds an opening along the inside, and she's able to outrun that last Witch blocker to the point. Hannibal Lecter now gets around her last blocker, keeps her balance, and she's out of the pack as well. Pack now quickly heading down the front straightaway. Princess Leia closing in, gets a big block from Bob. And Leia gets knocked off the track as well. She's got to get up and reestablish to call the jam off, and is able to do so.
Right in the nick of time.
Three hard-fought points for the Fairies in that jam.
Fairies trying to protect their lead here. It looks like here's a prime opportunity for that. We got a power jam coming here for the Fairies. That's Cherry Kiss out there, going to skate this power jam. Fairies looking to extend that lead right here.
All right, it's an official timeout. We're going to go over some of the action in that previous jam and make sure we've got everything established correctly before we launch our way into a power jam. All right, everything appears to be set and in order. We are going to get back, remove the bookmark from our book and get back to the action. Cherry Kiss and the Fairies Power Jam. Cherry Kiss off the jammer line now, quickly up to the pack, tries to blast her way right through the middle. And it looks like that strategy is going to work. She is out already and is an active scorer coming around to the pack, which is holding, well, was holding still, but now the Witch is able to get together at the front there and get things moving along. So Cherry Kiss now trying to catch up to the pack, gets by her blockers. Dealing with a full complement of Witch blockers out there at the front of the pack now, gets some help from her teammates.
Witch is doing a good job of slowing down or stopping Cherry Kiss right now. Trying real hard to get an effective penalty kill.
Yeah, definitely with 10 seconds left to go in the power jam. And Cherry Kiss calls it off after having to reestablish deep in the track. So good defense there by the Witches on the power jam, able to held the Fairies to 4 points. Up to the jammer line now for the Witches. That's number 213, Sandwich.
And Twinkle Toes out there for your Fairies. Obviously a cold cut sandwich.
Yes. Now one blocker down for each side, it looks like. And there we are underway. Sandwich taken down, has tripped over a fallen defender, and along the inside goes Twinkle Toes, and she is out near lead jammer for the Fairies.
Sandwich still having trouble at the front of the pack with Spock Block and Bob.
Sandwich out now, trying to put the pressure on. Twinkle Toes runs into some defense at the back of the pack, gets knocked down, slides off the track, and is not able to call off the jam in time, and your new lead jammer is Sandwich, and she skates her way through the pack and calls off the jam. Matter of inches, but Twinkle Toes was there on the infield as Sandwich came by. So 4 points for the Witches, 2 points for the Fairies there. 45-23, Fairies in front as we line up for our last jam of the first quarter. That's going to be Pixie Danger for the Fairies.
Pretty hurt machine out there for your Witches. Pretty hurt machine gets out there first. She's your lead jammer. Pixie Danger, though, not wasting any time, getting out behind her.
Hurt gets routed up into the rail by the Fairies defense, and she calls off the jam. No points for either side, and that is how the quarter comes to a close. So we exit that jam the way we entered it with the score 45-23 Fairies. So they're in front right now, but of course that is still really close in Derby terms, and we've got 45 minutes of action left. So we're going to take a brief breather, and we'll get right back to things.
All right, Derby fans, get your raffle tickets out. I've got an orange raffle ticket right here in my hand. You get a Dairy Queen gift card. Look carefully. 786-595. 786-595. Come on down. You're the winner. Right as it starts to get hot, you can be cooling off at Dairy Queen. We have a winner. Also, make sure you buy those 50-50 raffle tickets. They're 50-50 raffles up to $90 already.
All right, Derby fans, 15 seconds on the countdown clock. We are just about ready to get back to the action. Don't forget to pick up your souvenir cup at the merchandise booth and fill that with delicious drink. There's the whistle. We are ready for the second quarter. Score check once again. Fairies 45, Witches 23. As we get ready to get underway here in the second quarter, to the jammer line for the Witches is Hannibal Lecture, and for the Fairies is Evil Twin. Tightly bunched pack. Hannibal Lecture quickly to the front now, trying to get past the blocker, but gets held up, gets another blocker in her way, and able to shake clear. Hannibal Lecture is your lead jammer for the Witches. Evil Twin now fighting against two Witches blockers, able to dodge them and get clear of the pack as well in the front straightaway. Hannibal Lecture now approaching the pack on her scoring pass attempt. Runs into a blocker and gets bumped into the rail, then gets knocked down. Quickly calls it off with Evil Twin barreling in with a head full of steam. So 2 points for Hannibal Lecture. Was able to call it off just in time to deny any points to the Blue Jammer, but there was a penalty called on Hannibal Lecture. It's going to be a Fairies Power Jam once again. Your Fairies Jammer, that is Pixie Danger. Spread out pack, Pixie Danger fighting against two blockers. Now Novocaine joins him at the front of the pack, trying to keep Pixie Danger pinned in. A blocker tries to get in Novocaine's way and gets dumped on the ground for it. Gets out of everybody's way. Pixie Danger still trying to fight her way through here with 23 seconds left in the Power Jam. There goes Pixie Danger now out the pack. Probably got time for one scoring attempt here if she can catch the pack. Still trying to catch up. The pack now trying to, front of the pack trying to move out of the way. Pixie Danger now gets past the blockers, slides off onto the infield as the whistle is blowing. So we will wait for the score to come up from the infield. 4 points. 4 points on the Power Jam for the Fairies. Good defense by the Witches on the Power Jam. And we're going to have an official timeout to go over some of the goings on there. A lot of action there at the end of the jam. I see a report coming in from the OPR here from the far turn. So we'll step aside from the action momentarily after that Power Jam. The Fairies on top, 49-25. We'd like to let you know about Copper Star Coffee. They're a locally owned coffee shop and cafe providing hand-blended drinks and award-winning baked goods. Visit them on the southwest corner of 7th Avenue and Heatherbrae. That's just north of Indian School Road. For delicious coffee, tea, muffins, and their incredible homemade bagels every day. We'd like to see you here at our next bout at the Hall of Dames. Our next doubleheader night of the season is Saturday, May 7th at 6 p.m., just like tonight. It's going to feature our minor assaults again, as well as two of our adult teams. We're going to give you a taste of what's to come next season as two of our home teams, the Brutal Beauties and the Coffin Draggers, are going to go head-to-head in the second half of that bout. That's next month, next Saturday, next month, easy for me to say. Next month, Saturday the 7th, 6 p.m., our next bout here at the Hall of Dames. Discussion continues on the infield. Regulators still talking over and assessing everything that went on in that last jam. All right, the discussion breaking up. It looks like we're just about ready to get back to the action. No. It's a team timeout. We have rolled into a team timeout for the Witches. And if I was a gambling man, I would bet they're going to challenge something. Witches coach Troy McClure and captain of the Fairies, Lightning the Queen, are speaking with our head ref, Transylvania, now. Hey fans, if you can't make it to our next bout on Saturday, May 7th in person, no problemo. We've got live stream tickets for you to watch from home. Visit our Facebook event page for those links of the week of each bout and get access to our live stream. Shout out to everybody watching on live stream right now. Right now. I'm talking about you, Dave. Thanks for supporting our league from home. It's the Arizona Derby Dames live stream.
They're out there in the electrons. They're watching us. They're everywhere. They're legion. They are anonymous. Hey Derby fans, if you're interested in being a part of the roller derby community but hitting people isn't your thing, well, our regulators right here are always looking for people, looking for dedicated and eager minds to learn our rule set and keep our ladies on the track safe. Our regulator team is an open gender team, and there are various levels of officiating that go on during a roller derby bout. Come be a part of the action, help our league grow. Ask any skater or ref how to get involved.
Derby fans, you know the second half of our bout tonight is a minor assaults mashup bout. You're used to that by now. We've had them every bout this year. If you are between the ages of 10 to 17 and love to skate, or if you know somebody who fits those simple criteria, our minor assaults are looking for new skaters to join their team. Our coaches not only teach technique and knowledge of the sport, but they also help build leadership, teamwork, and problem-solving skills that'll help in life situations far beyond roller derby. Minor skating skills, dedication to learn, and a positive mental attitude are all that we require. Come see what all the fun is about. Ask any Arizona Derby Dame how to get involved.
Hey, I'm going to offer a personal testimonial on that. As a Derby dad, our daughter Amelia Derhart is an amazing person, and being a part of the roller derby community has only helped her grow as a person. She loves her derby teammates, and we've had a great time traveling around the country doing roller derby stuff and meeting great people. So if you got a kid that might be interested in this, it's a really rewarding thing.
All right, after an official timeout that rolled into a team timeout that became a challenge, we are back to the action. You can tell by the cheering coming out of that last section of bleachers, Jaeger to the jammer line for the Witches.
Out there with Jaeger, that's Princess Leia for the Fairies. Oh, Princess Leia tries the high side, gets pinned up against the rail by Nikki Badass. Doesn't let her slow down though, she keeps on going.
Jaeger out as well now, trying to put the pressure on. And as the defense was shaping up, Freya, excuse me, not my wife, Slaya was trying to get through the defense there, but wasn't going to be able to get to those Witches defenders before the other jammer caught the back of the pack. So no score for either side in our first jam back to the action. Dolly Spartan to the jammer line for the Fairies. Skeletori for the Witches.
Both jammers able to get out of that pack intact. Making their way around the backside of the track. Dolly Spartan trying to fire her teammates, get them to move ahead. Calls off the jam just as she's hitting the wall.
Skeletori coming barreling in there with a head full of steam and gets snagged by one of her blockers to slow her down.
Here comes Evil Twin out there to skate this jam for the Fairies.
Your Witches jammer is Sandwich. Fairies have one blocker, two blockers cold down off the track. That leaves their blocker contingent very thin.
Witches with all their blockers trying to make some room, get their jammer out. Nikki Badass takes Evil Twin to the infield. Sandwich able to get out as your lead jammer. Evil Twin still not out of the back. Witches looking to make up some points right here.
And Nikki Badass wearing that pivot stripe. That's pretty much a class in pivot making there as she directed her jammer which way to go around a block. So if you ever wanted to know how to pivot and roller derby, just watch that. 4 points for the Witches, but the Witches lose their jammer. Witches trying to chop into that lead, but they have another jammer penalty, and it's going to be a power jam for the Fairies once again with Cherry Kiss at the jammer line. With an acrobatic move trying to stay upright. Takes the tumble but doesn't fall off the track, and she's able to get up and get out of the pack. 45 seconds to go in the power jam. Cherry Kiss able to build up a head of steam before plowing into one of the Witcher's blockers there. But the blocker held her ground, and Cherry Kiss calls it off at the front of the pack. So 4 points for the Fairies there on the power jam. Princess Leia to the jammer line for the Fairies.
The Witches sending up Jaeger again. Princess Leia skating up, trying the high side up by the rail, gets stopped by Nikki Badass. Jaeger still working way through the back of the pack. Princess Leia dives down to the bottom of the track, finds some daylight, and gets out as your lead jammer. Jaeger getting bounced around right now by Bob and Juicy. But alas, they're pushed out of play, and they got to let her go just as the jam gets called off. Pixie's able to pick up 4 points on that jam.
Setting up now to jam for the first time for the Fairies, Trixie Pixie.
Trixie Pixie skating against Skeletori.
Nobody in the penalty box. Full complement of blockers out there as we reach the halfway point of the second quarter.
Trixie Pixie able to work way to the front of the pack, gets by Novocaine, gets out as your lead jammer. Skeletori able to emerge out of the pack, coming out of turn 2. Trixie Pixie setting up their scoring pass right now. Oh, and gets knocked to the track in turn 3. Takes a hit from Mimi Mahler and calls off the jam.
Three points for Trixie Pixie there on that jam for the Fairies. Another first-time jammer for the Fairies here. This is Spock Block. Spock jamming for the Fairies.
Which is sending a cold cut sandwich up there to jam for them. Both jammers bouncing around inside the pack right now as Sandwich gets to the front of the pack and emerges as your lead jammer. Spock Block trying hard up against the rail, coming down. Dives to the middle, avoids Nikki Badass and gets out. Spock Block following Sandwich around the track. The pack comes to a stop right here in front of us in turn 4. Sandwich calls off the jam.
So once again, no points for either side. Up to the jammer line for the Fairies is Pixie Danger.
Pretty hurt machine out there for the Witches. Still just short of 6 minutes left in this second quarter.
Pixie Danger goes down in a heap with one of the Witches' blockers. Hurt Machine up to the front of the pack, and Hurt is your lead jammer for the Witches. Pixie Danger escorted through the pack by her blockers and is now out as well to put the pressure on.
Hurt skates to the front of the pack trying to get any last points. Picks up 3 points for the Witches.
Evil Twin to the jammer line for the Fairies.
Hey, and out there to skate for the first time tonight, that's Cryptic Callie taking the jammer line, first time jamming.
Tightly bunched pack heads down through the first turn. Now into the back straightaway. Cryptic Callie is a little further forward. Evil Twin goes down in a pile with 3 blockers at the back of the pack, but Cryptic Callie routed off the track. So neither jammer out yet. 35 seconds on the jam clock. Evil Twin tries to sneak by and takes a hip for her efforts and gets bumped off onto the infield.
Princess Leia and Bob holding off Callie on the high side. Callie diving to the bottom of the track, trying to find some daylight. Callie gets knocked to the infield by her old coach, Alan I'll Hate Ya, as Evil Twin emerges as your lead jammer. 10 seconds left in this jam. Evil Twin's coming around, hoping to score a couple points.
Cryptic Callie at the back of the pack, playing an extra blocker there for the Witches. No points for either side. Stout defense at the back of the pack for the Witches, denying any points. Your Fairies jammer is Cherry Kiss.
That's Skeletori back out there for the Witches. Skeletori moving through the middle of the pack. Cherry Kiss taking the high side. Gets out past her mom. And Cherry Kiss is your lead jammer. Skeletori trying to gain ground. Cherry Kiss is such a fast skater, though.
Cherry Kiss calls it off. We're going to have to wait for the official ruling and see if Skeletori was able to pick up any points on the back end. She indeed was. Skeletori sliding in there and picks up 2 points at the back of the pack to help offset the 4 points scored by Cherry Kiss.
And Twinkle Toes back out there for the Fairies.
And Jaeger is out there for the Witches. Jaeger along the inside, and Jaeger is out and clear as your lead jammer for the Witches. Twinkle Toes out now, trying to catch up. Jaeger gets knocked to her knees, gets up and furiously signals to call off the jam with Twinkle Toes sliding in at the back. 3 points for Jaeger on the jam.
High Voltage out there for the Witches. Skate this jam.
Trixie Pixie is your jammer for the Fairies. And Volt gets bumped off to the inside by the first blocker she ran up against. Now able to run along the inside, and Volt is your lead jammer for the Witches.
Trixie Pixie emerges out of turn 3, picking up some speed, coming around to the back of the track.
So 1 point there at the back of the pack for the Witches. Jamming now for the Fairies is Princess Leia.
And Sandwich back out there for the Witches. Sandwich working hard on that high line, trying to get by all the skaters. Running out of the pack as your lead jammer. Princess Leia gets knocked to the infield for a half a second.
Leia out of the pack now. Sandwich catching up on her scoring attempt. Sliding in. Scooting along on her backside there for a little ways and calls off the jam from the track. So 2 more points for the Witches.
Sliding into second base and calling off the jam. I see Skeletori out there for the Witches.
Your jammer for the Fairies is Dolly Spartan. Got a blocker from each side pulled down.
Looks like this might be the last jam of the half. Skeletori off to the races is your lead jammer.
Tori completes the scoring pass. Dolly Spartan is still not out. Bumped off onto the infield one more time. Tori coming in now, halfway off on the jam clock. Tori looking for more points now. And able to complete the scoring pass along the outside. Dolly Spartan still hemmed in at the back of the pack. Now Dolly Spartan finds an opening, and she's going to try to put a stop to the hemorrhaging. Skeletori closing in. She's got a half-track advantage, and Skeletori takes a slide up to the outside of the track. Manages to catch herself on the kick plate. Doesn't fall out of the track. Calls it off. Our steadfast photographer, Oprad Jammett, just about had to catch Tori. So that was pretty close. So that takes us to the end of the second quarter. A 10-point jam for the Witches to close things out. Makes things a little closer as we head into halftime. Your score right now, Fairies 64, Witches 50.
All right, raffle fans, grab one of those orange raffle tickets. I got a winner right here. Orange raffle ticket number 786-686. 786-686. You're a winner. Orange raffle ticket. Orange raffle ticket number 786-686. I got an Easter basket for you. Hey, we got a winner. Also, make sure you're buying those 50-50 raffle tickets. The 50-50 raffle is already up to $165. Grab those tickets now.
All right, Derby fans, at halftime, get ready for the merchandise shoot. We have a couple of our skaters and one, or at least one of our minor assaults now running down the track with merchandise to throw out to cheering fans in the audience. Let them hear it.
Hey, Derby fans, if you're feeling hungry, head out to our food truck for this evening, Los Habaneros Street Tacos, located outside of the front entrance here through halftime of our second bout. Go ahead, get on out there. I see a lot of these street tacos going by. These look yummy. All right, Derby fans, welcome to the second half of Derby action here at the Hall of Dames. I see Jaeger out there on the jammer line for the Witches.
Your jammer for the Fairies is Princess Leia. If you're just joining us, what took you so long to get here? My goodness. If you're just joining us, score is 64-50 right now. Fairies in front. Fairies led throughout most of the first half, but the Witches closed the gap towards the end of the first half. And now Princess Leia quickly to the front of the pack, and she is your lead jammer for the Fairies.
Blocks out, not me.
All right, Princess Leia making her way up to the back of the pack. Pack picking up some speed coming into turn 3 and 4. Princess Leia getting knocked to the infield, gets back out on the track and calls off the jam.
2 points for the Fairies
Black one.
for their efforts during that jam.
The
Lining-
Witches sending Skeletori back out there.
Cherry Kiss for the Fairies. Fairies have a blocker down. Looks like the Witches are calling down a blocker as well, as a Witch correspondingly sits down in the penalty box. So 3 blockers for each side. Cherry Kiss wrestling with those blockers at the back of the pack and ends up on the infield. Skeletori quickly out of the front of the pack and is your lead jammer for the Witches.
Cherry Kiss doing battle with Mimi Mahler, able to get by her old teammate. Gets out of the pack, but not enough time to score any points.
Streak, you had one ghost point. You had one ghost point.
Up to the jammer line now after the Witches put 3 points on the board. It's going to be Hannibal Lecture for the Witches.
Twinkle Toes out there for the Fairies.
See? That's why I'm here. That's why we are here. You have one ghost point. You're the nearest bench. So you can look at that nearest bench
Hannibal Lecter trying the high side.
Twinkle Toes pinned in at the back of the pack. It ends up taking a spill. Gets knocked down by one of the blockers, and Hannibal Lecter out the front of the pack for the Witches. Lead jammer for the Witches here. Twinkle Toes shakes free as well, half a track behind.
Scoring pass, there goes scoring.
Hannibal Lecter in the middle of the pack, ended up on the infield there for a second, turned around and saw Twinkle Toes flying down the back straightaway. Hannibal Lecter calls off the jam. So 2 more points for the Witches. Witches now cutting into that lead for the Fairies, 66-56. Fairies in front by 10. Fairies are going to send Dolly Spartan to the jammer line.
Dolly's teammate Pretty Hurt Machine out there to jam for the Witches. It's fun to see these mashup teams with skaters from the same team going up against each other. And teammates both taken to the infield. Dolly Spartan gets out as your lead jammer. Pretty Hurt Machine still stuck at the back of the pack there, turn 2. Dolly Spartan fighting with Lightning the Queen, but able to get by. Dolly Spartan working her way through the pack right now. Gets to the front of the pack. Rowdy Ruckus and Nova Kane forming a solid wall.
2 points for the Fairies. And it looks like we are going to have a jammer penalty assessed to Pretty Hurt Machine. It's going to be a power jam for the Fairies. Fairies are going to send Princess Leia to the jammer line. Fairies also have a blocker advantage. 1 blocker advantage. There's 1 witch blocker and the witch jammer in the penalty box. And we're underway.
Princess Leia forcing their way to the front of the pack and able to get by. Nikki Badass, Antifa, and Reckless Rose able to wall up at the front of the pack.
The Fairy blockers spring into action now. One of them takes a hard fall down there going into the corner. I believe that was embezzlement that wound up on the track, and Princess Leia finishes off her scoring pass with 19 seconds left on the jam clock, and now coming around for her second attempt. This time the Fairy is able to control the pace of play.
See a lot of team blocking out there with Bob, Spock Block, and Juicy. Some schoolyard scrappers out there defending with each other.
We've got another first-time jammer on the jammer line. For the Fairies, that's number 69, Florence Puke.
I got one, you got one.
Which is sending Skeletori up to the jammer line.
That was a 9-point power jam for the Fairies, by the way, once the score coming in.
Skeletori immediately gets out to the front of the pack trying to do battle with Lightning the Queen.
Black's almost out.
Strange. Trixie Pixie taken to the track. Skeletori able to get out as your lead jammer though. Florence Pugh knocked to the infield there. Nova Kane and Ritual Ruckus trying to wall up.
I do the left jump, left.
That Witch's pivot, Remy Ruckus. I got to take my glasses off to see what she's going by tonight. Ritual Ruckus tonight, number 626, playing excellent defense there at the front of the pack.
Skeletori set up another scoring pass, tied up at the high side, falls down to the infield, trying to get to the low. Back out on the track. Still 5 seconds left in this jam. Skeletori pushing for every point. Calls off the jam there in turn 3.
8 points for the Witches. 77-64, Fairies in front with 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 2 to the jammer line for the first time for the Witches, number 1982, Sandra Slay O'Connor.
That's Twinkle Toes out there for the Fairies. Once again, a couple of teammates from the Schoolyard Scrappers.
Sandy finds an opening along the outside, but that door quickly closed. But those blockers, she able to get one of the blockers turned around and gets by, and Sandy's your lead jammer for the Witches.
Twinkle Toes able to get out of the pack on the backside of the track as Sandra Slay O'Connor setting up their scoring pass.
And Evil Twin, the pivot for the Fairies, able to drive Sandy up into the rail, and Sandra Slay O'Connor calls off the jam. And it looks like we are going to have a power jam for the Witches. The Witches are going to have a power jam. Fairies jammer to the penalty box. There's a late reporting, but Cherry Kiss pulled down. And who is jamming for the first time tonight? Mimi Mahler. Ended up with 1 point there for the Witches, so 77-65 heading into this Witches power jam. Mimi fighting against that defense at the back of the pack. They route her off onto the infield again. But her blocker slides off into the infield as well. That lets Mimi shake free. And she's bumped off to the infield, but that blocker was out of play, so contact doesn't count. Mimi heading around now for her first scoring attempt.
Lightning and Cherry at the front of that pack, trying to hold the line against their old teammate, Mimi Mahler. All the three of those skaters graduated from the minor assaults into the Derby Dames Adult League.
3 points for the Witches. That means the Fairies' lead is down to single digits for the first time since early in the first quarter. Fairies are going to send Princess Leia to the jammer line now.
Witches have Hannibal Lecture out there again to jam this.
Oh, I hear a cut track penalty being announced on Mimi Mahler by her mom, Lollipop. None the worse. Mimi Mahler goes to the penalty box under the watchful eye of our penalty admin, Lollipop. And it's going to be a power jam for the Fairies when we get back to the action. But first, it is going to be a challenge. Oh, the Witches are going to be challenging that late reported penalty on Mimi Mahler. So, team challenge by the Witches, using up their second half challenge, and they were going to try to deny the power jam. We will see what the outcome is.
Hey, Derby fans, come see us for our next doubleheader the night of the next doubleheader night of the season, Saturday, May 7th at 6 p.m. It's going to feature our minor assaults as well as our adult teams. Join us as we bring back two of our home teams, the Brutal Beauties and the Coffin Draggers, as a taste of what's to come next season. That's the next bout on May 7th at 6 p.m. Doors at 5, first whistle at 6.
Be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Dames merchandise booth to get your favorite league and team merchandise. Buy yourself some team merchandise before that team bout next month. We have t-shirts, tank tops, hats, koozies, stickers, buttons, everything to support your favorite team or the league in general, or the Hot Shots, or the minor assaults. That's where you can also get your souvenir cups for the night. I hear that goes well with spicy tacos.
Hey, Derby fans, there's so many awesome raffle prizes tonight at our raffle prize table. You're going to see league members coming around with raffle tickets for you to purchase. For the item raffle prizes, tickets are $1 a ticket or 6 tickets for $5. And then we have a 50-50 cash prize raffle. Those tickets are $5 a ticket or 3 tickets for $10. Those tickets are 2 different colors, so make sure you know what you're buying. Get yourself a 50-50 raffle ticket at $5 a ticket or 3 tickets for $10.
We do have a food truck here tonight. We have a food truck tonight, and we will have a food truck at our next bout in May. Your food truck this evening is the Los Habaneros Street Tacos. They are located right outside, and they will be here through halftime of the second bout. So we have a half-hour break between our first and second bouts. What a great opportunity to go outside and get yourself a taco or two. Challenge continues. Discussion continues in the back straightaway amongst the regulators. Once again, what is at stake right now? The Witches are challenging the penalty on their jammer. There was a cut track called on Mimi Mahler, and they are challenging that penalty to try to avert a power jam for the Fairies. Discussion is over. Announcement from the regulators, penalty is upheld, challenge unsuccessful. So the power jam shall proceed. We will wait for the teams to return to the track to verify who will be doing that power jamming for the Fairies. All right, both teams have been advised of the outcome as well. Everybody's back at their benches. Looks like we're about ready to go. All right, back to the action. Power jam for the Fairies. Their lead is down to single digits at the moment, but it's a Fairies power jam and a great chance for them to put some points on the board with Princess Leia at the jammer line.
Witches have all 4 blockers out there, looking to try to keep this a close bout. Slaya doing battle on the low side with Antifa and Jaeger. Gets out though and gets pinned to the rail by Nikki Badass.
Nikki fights around a block and gets right back to the front of the pack to help her 2 defenders. They have Princess Leia pinned in there, and now Leia trying to find an opening, just not there.
Bob trying to get up front, provide some offense, get a break in that line, able to get Princess Leia out.
Blocker pinball at the back of the pack now. Leia through the pack. And that transit was a lot easier than the first one. Leia right through. She got 14 seconds left. Got time to get back to the pack as the pack is holding mostly stationary.
Baba Yaga able to break up that blocking line, make room for her jammer to get out.
Leia absorbing a shoulder from Nikki Badass there and able to stay upright and finish off the power jam. That is an 8-point power jam there for Princess Leia and the Fairies. That doubles the lead for the Fairies at the moment. Dolly Spartan to the jammer line for the Fairies.
Skeletori back out there for the Witches.
Nobody in either penalty box.
Oh, I got one.
Now there's somebody in the penalty box. Yeah, they did call down a blocker, so everybody's checking. There we go. The Fairies are down 1 blocker, both jammers cautiously approaching the pack, and then they spring to life. Tori is further ahead at the moment, gets run up into the rail there by that blocker, and then shakes free. Dolly Spartan up to her last couple of blockers. They are able to break her stride. Tori closing in on the back of the pack now for her first scoring attempt, while Dolly's still fighting to get clear along the inside.
Left jammer.
Dolly having trouble getting by Ritual Ruckus and Pretty Hurt Machine. Nova came back out to the front of the pack as well as a blocker.
10 seconds left on the jam clock. Tori trying to find an opening.
You're still out, yeah. I think your jammer started to block after a while. Black, yeah.
And the clock blows up on the jam. Wait for the official score from the infield.
Black 4.
4 points. 4 points for the Witches there. Team timeout by the Fairies, so they're going to take a second to talk this over. So we'll step aside from the action momentarily at the request of the Fairies. Your score right now, Fairies 85, Witches 72.
Hey Derby fans, be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Games merch booth. Get your favorite league and team merchandise. T-shirts, tank tops, hats, koozies, as well as stickers and buttons of your favorite team. And this is also where you can get your souvenir cup for the night. Go get you tonight's souvenir cup.
When we do real scrimmages, you can always...
Lost Dutchman Tattoo is a tattoo shop specializing in various styles from realism to traditional. You can also customize your own tattoo if you'd like. That's what I did. It was fun and it was easy. Walk-ins are accepted. The shop is located at 4121 North 19th Avenue. It's the east side of 19th Avenue, just north of Indian School Road, directly across from My Mother's Restaurant. That's what it's called. My mother doesn't own a restaurant. That's the Lost Dutchman Tattoo. All right, back to the action. Team timeout is over, and the Fairies, after their timeout, send out Spock Block to the jammer line.
Hey, and taking the jammer line for the first time tonight for the Witches, that's Reckless Rose. Rose is taking the high side and able to get out and right off the bat. Rose is your lead jammer. Spock Block still working their way through the back of the pack. Held up by Nikki Badass, able to take to the high side, charges out on the high side. Rose hits the back of the pack and starting to score points.
Rose weaves her way through the pack. Excellent footwork there. Staggered out pack and skaters going every which direction. Rose was able to weave her way through the obstacle course and get her 4 points and call it off. So once again, the Fairy lead is down to single digits, 85-76. 9-point lead for the Fairies. They send Pixie Danger to the jammer line.
And that's pretty Hurt Machine going out there for the Witches. Hurt looking to continue to close this league. The big comeback by the Witches.
Fairies lose a blocker. Looks like just one.
Still plenty of time in this, about 2 minutes in the third, and you got the whole fourth quarter left. Hurt goes low and makes it look easy. The pack isn't even out of the front straightaway yet, and Hurt's already coming around for a scoring pass.
Black jammer.
And everybody goes down to the infield. Hurt springs up the first and takes off. Pixie Danger out of the pack as well. Hurt now has her in her sights.
Black's approaching second scoring pass.
And Hurt not able to close the gap and calls it off.
You can see Hurt doing the math in her head. Okay, I got so many points, and they're in front of me. I can't catch up. Okay, we're done.
No pass, no point.
I see Sandwich out there for the Witches.
So it's a 2-point jam for the Witches because she got past several of the blockers while she was on the... Okay, yeah. So it was a 2-point jam for the Witches instead of 4 points. But they're cutting into that lead. There goes Slaya racing to the front of the pack. She's your lead jammer for the for the Fairies.
You're gonna let my jammer. Left it. Your game. There you go. Watch the turnout.
Slaya now trying to get by Antifa along the inside, and then Antifa gets crushed by Bob. So 3 points for the Fairies there.
I got one.
This will be the last jam of the third quarter. Fairies up by 10, and they have sent Trixie Pixie to the jammer line.
I got two.
That's Skeletori out there for the Witches. About 3 seconds left in this quarter. Looks like the last jam of this quarter.
Oh, don't look now. Blue jammer called off the track. It's another power jam for the Witches. Skeletori is going to get a chance to do a power jam here to close out the third quarter. And I hope you're really excited for it and ready to wait, because it's going to be an official timeout. All right, put a bookmark in that. We will get back to that in a second. Witches down 10, last jam of the third quarter, 3 seconds on the clock. And Skeletori at the jammer line. If you can't make it to our next bout in person, or any bout going forward for the time being, no problem. We've got live stream tickets for you to watch from home. Visit our Facebook event page for those links the week of each bout and get access to our live stream. Shout out to everybody watching on our live stream right now. Thank you for supporting our league from home.
Hey now, thank you, live stream. All right, Derby fans, are you interested in being a part of the roller derby community, but hitting people isn't your thing? Our regulators are always looking for dedicated and eager minds to learn our rule set and help keep our ladies on the track safe. Our regulator team is an open gender team. There are various levels of officiating that go on during a roller derby bout. Come be a part of the action and help our league grow. Ask any skater or ref how to get involved.
It would appear that the discussion is nearly over. The jam refs are back to their spots anyway. And I heard from the infield, but I'll wait till they make it official. Challenge Fairies. Fairies are using their second half challenge, so we are going to roll into a challenge situation in review now. There's Milani Mangler, co-coach of the Fairies, and Troy McClure, co-coach of the Witches, talking with Transylvania. So, Fairies challenging the penalty on their jammer in the previous jam to try and avert the power jam to the Witches. We will see what develops. In the meantime, I'd like to tell you about Siphon Draw Apothecary Shop. They're an all-natural, non-toxic, handcrafted skincare product line made by our very own Dolly de los Muertos. We want to shout out this sponsor for providing us with hand sanitizer for our entire season, keeping us safe with clean hands. Visit siphondraw.com or visit them in the historic Goldfield Ghost Town. Like an NBA game with all these challenges. Announcement from the infield, the penalty is upheld. Second challenge, second unsuccessful challenge this evening, and there will be no more challenges. Everybody's out of challenges. So, we will go back to where we hit the pause button. Power jam for the Witches. Skeletori to the jammer line.
Witches have all their blockers out there. They might make this a real high-scoring power jam.
Yeah, Fairies only have 2 blockers. They've got 2 blockers in the penalty box along with their jammer. So
You can see
we
this play
will
starting
see
to
what happens.
sketch out. Keep the Fairy blockers up against the rail.
All right, the Fairy blockers take off and play keep away right from the outset and go straight to the front of the pack together. That's Lightning McQueen and embezzlement, I believe? No, that's not embezzlement. I'm sorry. It's Al. Sorry, Al and Alaja. At any rate, so far, the Fairy defense is working. 27 seconds left in the power jam, and Tori is not out yet. Now she's going to be able to get out, getting that last blocker called out of play. And Tori gets out, but what an excellent defensive effort by two Fairy blockers.
They burned about 40 seconds off of the clock with that.
And there, once the Witches have a second to actually set their offense, that was an easy pass for Tori. But again, excellent power jam defense by the Fairies to close out the third quarter and keep that at one scoring pass for the Witches. Fairies are still in front, 88-83 as we head to the fourth quarter.
Hey, raffle tickets. Get your orange raffle tickets out. All right, orange raffle tickets. I've got a 786743. Put your hands together. Some of these minor assaults come around with a little t-shirt toss. Our minors are getting ready to skate the next bout. Put your hands together for some of these junior skaters. And dig out those orange raffle tickets. Orange raffle tickets 786743. You can't have gone home yet. You've got this ticket in your pocket. Look at your tickets. 786743. Make some noise if you're a winner.
we are back to the action. Derby fans, Fairies in front, 88-83. They are in front by 5 points. We've got Spock Block to the jammer line for the Fairies now.
I see Sandwich out there for the Witches. Sandwich looking to extend the lead, extend the catch-up. And he gets out as your lead jammer.
Spock Block now approaching the front of the pack with an escort. They clear the way, and Spock Block gets past that last blocker. Gets her down on the infield, and Spock Block is clear. And sliding through the pack, there goes Sandwich. See, it's funny because she's going by Sandwich tonight. Her usual name is Militia, and in the back of her black jersey says Cold Cut. So that's why Bill's been saying Cold Cut Sandwich all night. Anyway, she scores 4 points for the Witches. That's a 1-point game. Fairies in front. And they are sending Trixie Pixie to the jammer line.
Skeletori out there for the Witches. Trixie Pixie looking to defend that 1-point lead.
Jammer's trying the Dolly Spartan approach.
Both skaters working laterally behind the pack through the track. Skeletori taken to the infield. Trixie Pixie being held up by Lightning the Queen. Ritual Ruckus. Pretty Hurt Machine. Solid Wall of Witches at the back of the pack. Trixie Pixie able to escape the pack though. Get out as your lead jammer.
Tori gets bumped off onto the infield by Lightning the Queen. Trixie Pixie runs into a defensive wall at the back of the pack as well as the clock spiraling down, and Trixie Pixie calls it off. 3 points for the Fairies. Keeping themselves in front so far.
Jaeger coming to the jammer line with a full complement of Witches blockers.
And that's going to be Evil Twin for the Fairies. Checking on some penalties here. Regulators giving the all okay. And the jam begins. Tightly bunched pack. Jaeger to the front of the pack. Gets blocked. Has a blocker go in front of her, but that blocker is going to be out of play. Jaeger is clear and is your lead jammer for the Witches. Evil Twin now able to race along and finds an opening along the outside with the help of one of her blockers. Jaeger now on a scoring pass. Jaeger will get one crack at this. Those three Fairies blockers were all hiding at the front of the pack and playing keep away, but Jaeger picks up all 4 points anyway. And Jaeger picks up a penalty. Sorry, I hate to rain on the parade, but Jaeger picked up a penalty and is in the penalty box. So it's a tie score right now, 91-91. My goodness, not a lead change yet, so you can't drink your squeeze it. Dolly Spartan is on the jammer line for the Fairies.
Got a whole new bout here with 11 minutes to go in the fourth.
Defensive wall for the Witches, anchored by Novocaine and Mimi Mahler. Dolly out of the front of the pack, battling with one blocker. That blocker is up to the task and waits for reinforcements. Now retreating back into the pack. 30 seconds left on the power jam. Dolly gets routed off onto the infield and has to wait for the pack to pass her by once again, and the blockers reestablish. now into the back straightaway. Dolly still doing battle at the front of the pack.
Still not out?
And that is going to do it for the Power Jam. 100% excellent defensive effort by the Witches. No points on the Power Jam for the Fairies. We remain tied. And Princess Leia to the jammer line for the Fairies.
Hannibal Lecter out there for your Witches. Hannibal Lecter almost taken out of the track this time. Juicy Couture there. Hannibal knocked to the infield there, howled up behind Alan, I'll hate ya. Princess Leia also knocked to the infield. But Princess Leia again out to the front of the track and not able to stay in the track.
Where's Hoover, by the way? Who's Hoover?
So Slaya now has to skate back and wait for the pack to catch up to her as they're inching along. Trying to get out, gets bumped off again. Antifa up to the task at the front of the pack. Hannibal Lecter now catching up to the pack with her cadre of blockers. Nobody's out yet. There we go. Slaya emerges from the pack and burns the last 3 seconds on the jam clock. So we'll reset. We're still tied. We are still tied. And up to the jammer line for the Fairies is Cherry Kiss.
The Witches are sending Skeletori back out there.
We have been tied for 2.5 minutes of game action. This is crazy.
One, street. One. Got it. Okay. See that far bit is hard to see. So it's
Tori races to the front of the pack, and she's able to get out first. Cherry Kiss now trying to deal with one blocker. Now gets some reinforcements, now gets help of her own, but Tori is out and free. Closing in on the pack from the behind and the back straightaway. Cherry Kiss gets dumped to the track, and she is up well behind the pack. Tori now trying to finish a scoring pass and does so. Cherry Kiss now settling into a jammer defense role.
left hammer.
Tori able to take advantage of a staggered pack, gets by Colette Razorcat and finishes off the scoring pass with 10 seconds left. Tori checked the clock on her way by on the big scoreboard up here next to me. And she calls off the jam. So we were tied for a very long time. We were tied for 3 straight jams, but the Witches broke it open emphatically. The Witches take the lead for the first time since the score was 3-2, and they go over 100 points. And we have a team timeout. So the Fairies want to take a second to talk this one over. What a shift in the status of this game, and the Witches now in front by 10. With 7.5 minutes to go in regulation.
Like I said, Derby fans, it's a long bout, and anything can happen. Any team can come back. And here we are sitting here with a 10-point Witch lead.
Fans, don't forget, food trucks have returned to the Derby Dames bouts. We have a food truck this evening, more of a food trailer, really. Habaneros, tacos, street tacos, Los Habaneros Street Tacos is their full name. They are outside, and they will be here till halftime of the second bout. So if you're looking for something to do during the half-hour break between the adults and the minors, get yourself some tacos.
I am sitting here eating some of those street tacos. Trust me, they are amazing. Go out there and give some support to our food vendor. All right, Derby fans, Jaeger's back out there for the Witches.
And it's going to be Evil Twin for the Fairies.
Witches looking to extend this slim lead.
Evil Twin routed off onto the infield by that last blocker. Reestablishes behind the pack. Pack now tightly bunched. Some blockers spilling out the front of the pack. Both jammers rather pinned at the back of the pack now. Evil Twin playing jammer defense at the back of the pack and trying to keep Jaeger pinned in. Fairies basically operating with 5 blockers right now. And now there goes Jaeger out the front of the pack, and Jaeger's your lead jammer, but just 4 seconds left on the clock. Gives a signal to the crowd, and the clock blows up. Hard-fought effort, no points to show for it, but she was out and clear for a little bit. Just north of 6 minutes left here in regulation. And the Fairy Jammer is being pulled off the track. It's going to be a power jam for the Witches. That is Pretty Hurt Machine at the jammer line.
Hurt pushing through the pack right to the front of the pack and gets out as your lead jammer. Pretty Hurt Machine trying to extend this Witch lead. Pack slowing down coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. Hurt setting up their scoring pass. Not much of a pixie wall, and Hurt's out for round 2. Witch is able to hold back. Lightning the Queen, slow that pack down. Hurt making the best of it, trying the high side, pushing the blockers out of the way. They got to let her go. Still 15 seconds left on this jam. Pack is virtually stopped on the backside of the track. Hurt gets through her own wall of blockers. 3 scoring passes for Pretty Hurt Machine.
15 big points for the Witches on the power jam. Biggest lead either team has had so far, 25 points. The Witches have stretched things out here with 4.5 minutes to go in regulation. Princess Leia to the jammer line for the Fairies.
Witch is sending up Reckless Rose again. Rose skates through the high side. Comes down to the bottom of the track, can't get out.
Black's still not out. Black's not out. You just left my
Rose now tries to get in Sleia's way and runs into the path of Princess Leia, tries to slow her down, and it does give the blockers a second to get together at the front of the pack. And Rose now trying to fight her way through the pack as well.
Black's still not out. Black 0.
5 points for the Fairies there. Sleia knew when she'd gotten past all 5 skaters and called off the jam at the end of it. It's going to be an official timeout. So we'll take a breather. 3:29 to go in regulation. I see a penalty being reported in by the outside pack ref at the entrance to the first turn. So we'll check on the penalty status here as the timeout
I
continues.
think she's done for the season. Maybe
At the moment, which is in front by 20, 116-96.
Kind of not derby related actually, but there was a bone spur in her shoulder and some arthritis and chronic pain, and went in and got it cleaned up, and she's like, I don't feel any of that. Yeah. Yeah, it's there's so many bones.
Oh yeah, I popped this one out.
Derby fans, there are so many awesome raffle prizes tonight at our raffle prize table. You see our league members coming around with raffle tickets for you to purchase. For our item raffle, Tickets are $1 per ticket or 6 tickets for $5 for our 50-50 cash prize raffle. Tickets are $5 a ticket or 3 for $10. The tickets are 2 different colors to keep them separate. At last check before the beginning of the fourth quarter, we just got an update, hollered in from the side. The 50-50 cash raffle is up to $240 already. And we are not even done with the first bout, so doing well this evening.
She wants one of those old cars.
All right, back to the action we go. 3:29 left in regulation. Witches are in front, 116-96, but, however, we have a power jam for the Fairies. It is Cherry Kiss at the jammer line all by her lonesome. Looks like a pretty full pack out there outside of the fact that the jammer is in the penalty box for the Witches, but Fairies now with a golden opportunity to try to cut into that lead as time grows slim in this bout.
And if anybody could do it, it's Cherry. Cherry trying to get by Ritual Ruckus out there. Blockers recycling down, trying to get by her mom right now.
And Nova is out of play. I saw an absolute wave of disgust when she was called out of play. Nova lives to block. Cherry Kiss now closing in on the back of the pack on her first scoring attempt with 25 seconds left in the power jam.
She got all those, she got that, she put her butt out to get all those cookies. That was good.
And Cherry calls off the power jam, trying to save a little bit of time on the clock. It's a 5-point power jam for Cherry. The Witches' lead is 15 points. We'll be at about 2 minutes to go when this jam starts. Evil Twin is your jammer for the Fairies.
And here comes Jaeger. Jaeger taking the jammer line for the Witches. 15-point lead right now. Evil Twin and Jaeger both taking the high side, trying to get by on that high rail. And Evil Twin able to dive down and get out as your lead jammer. Jaeger stuck back in the pack with Alan Ilhacha and Bob Ville and Juicy Couture. Knocked to the infield. Evil Twin coming around turns 1 and 2, going to set up her scoring pass. Takes to the track for a second. Gets back on her feet, doing battle with your Antifa right there.
Solid wall of Witch defenders at the back of the pack, wearing black. The Witch defenders, Jaeger out of the pack now to try to put the pressure on. Evil Twin routed down to the infield, but the blocker slides off as well, so Twin finishes the pass and calls off the jam for points for the Fairies.
I see Clutch Cannon coming to the line for the Witches right now.
Clutch Cannon jamming for the first time in what will be one of the last jams of the bout, going up against Trixie Pixie. Fairies down 11 with 1 minute to go.
Neither jammer able to get out of the pack. Slow pack in turn 1 right now. Clutch Cannon working the way to the front of the pack. Trying to get by Dolly Spartan there. Cherry Kiss taking Clutch Cannon to the infield. Clutch Cannon up on the rail now.
Which blockers are not letting the Fairy Jammer see daylight. They are more than content to just hold her back there and let this clock expire. Which Jammer gets out the front? That's Clutch Cannon. Lead Jammer, so now they control the pace of the jam. Now here comes Trixie Pixie trying to build up a head of steam and get clear, and gets blocked up into the rail by the pivot, but manages to get by with just a few seconds left on the clock. Clock blows up on the jam, leaving time for one more jam. All right, Derby fans, we've got one more jam in regulation, and it's a power jam for the Fairies. Princess Leia to the jammer line for the Fairies, who are down 13 points.
One more jam.
I know. And it's a power jam for the Fairies with Princess Leia. If she can complete 3 scoring passes.
Slaya's got all of her blockers out there right now, and there's only 2 witch blockers. This bout is not over yet.
The witch blockers quickly get to the front of the pack and try to unite, but Slaya's got him a little staggered. Gets bumped off onto the infield by Aunt Tifa, who's been playing strong defense all night along with Nikki Badass.
Nikki Badass able to recycle back to the front, keep that pack moving. Slaya gets out as your lead jammer.
So Slaya's out and clear, and she's got some work to put in. The pack is being held stationary by the blockers. And Tifa and Nikki again at the back of the pack, making life hard for Slaya, but she finishes the scoring pass. She's got 23 seconds left on the power jam clock. The game clock has expired. Regulation is over. Slaya trying to catch up to the pack. Now the witch blockers are trying to play keep away. Trying to press the issue with 8 seconds left on the power jam clock. Slaya finishes off her second scoring pass and then calls off the jam. Now we wait for the score, and we wait to find out if a penalty jam might happen. My goodness. 10 points on 2 scoring passes, closes the score to 118-115 Witches. And let's wait on the penalty situation and find out if we have bonus action. With that signal, the game is over. The Witches are able to hang on by 1 scoring pass on the last jam of the bout, and they hang on to win 118-115.
Right, yeah. How's Ref Boy RD?
It was the Jaeger section.
Right, yeah. Right.
That was the reaction of boys today.
Fans have got to win.
Yeah, let's go fans.
Anybody's going to win. The fans have got to win.
All right, Derby fans, put your hands together for the Fairies, too. Great bout tonight, Derby fans. Hey, if you're looking for a good time, I've got our orange raffle ticket right here, digging down to the bottom of the pile. Gonna get a nice, good orange number, only one of these numbers, 78673.